Good morning, my friends. How are you? Happy Friday. Woo, woo. So today is our L day of our rituals acronym. And I thought today I would give you a tip about what I do to learn when I go to the conferences. So next week is the National Association of Realtors conference. And oh my gosh, like I feel like re-entering into the world. And I've talked about this a little bit. I had to get my nails done, and I'm there at like 7 o'clock last night getting my nails done so I could get them done. And my toenails are going to match my jacket. And oh my gosh, such a process. And I was laughing. I said to the nail people, I said, "Do you see a bunch of people like me who went into the COVID kind of naturalism and no nails, no hair, no nothing. And now that we're out, we have to go back and remember how to do all of these things." Anyway, it's a journey. One of the things I love about going to conferences is the learning that goes on and the perspective of people from all over the world who come and give us information. And I always leave with something. And one of the things that I put into process or put into place is a system for me to learn and remember what it is that I went to. All right, so I'm going to show you what I do. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to take the big one here. Hold on a minute. So we're going to do this. Uh, okay, so I went to my Google Drive. So let me actually see if it'll let me show you the drive. So first I went to my drive. I opened up a new Google slide. Okay, and when I opened the new Google slide, right, I came up with something like this. So let me just go back to see what you're seeing. Okay, so here I am on the first page of the bias override. So that's the first thing I'm going to. And so I opened a slide in Google Drive. I'm going to put it in the NAR Conference 2021 folder so I can always go back and access it. And right here, I titled, so the first thing I did, and I'm going to go see if this will show you is, and I'm going to take this off of present. Wait a minute, it's not even on present. Hold on a second. Bear with me. All right, so you see over on the side is the slide that I created. So the first thing I did was I went to where it says view and it says theme builder. And just for the fun of it, I put in my fonts, right? So the things that I teach, because in case I ever use this for teaching, I will have already created the system for teaching, right? So it'll be my headline font, which for me is Cinzel, and then Muley, which is the font I use for typing. All right, so this is what I'm going to first, which is Bias Override, Overcoming Barriers to Fair Housing by Afua Otto of the Perception Institute. So that's my title. Now, while I'm waiting for them to start, I will probably, what I normally do is I would go to slide and I would go to new slide, and it automatically populates, as you can see, for a title and the text. So now I'm ready for whatever they talk about. I can title what it is that they're saying, and I can add in my text. And sometimes when I'm getting ready for them, I will go and now I could duplicate the slide or I could do a new slide. Doesn't really matter, right? So I'll make up 5 or 10 slides. And sometimes if you've been sitting next to me at a class, you've seen that what I do is I will go, and when someone's talking but it's like they're carrying on about it or telling a story, I'll just throw in a few more slides. Sometimes I will pick the layout if it's really like something that is like a lot of big points but not a lot of talking. I will do headlines, right? So that way I could have it bigger for me to see. So that's up to you. I mean, I also set, as you see, this font is big. I set the font at 30 because that is generally what I will train to, and then it is something that I can access. Okay, so I'm going to take that off for a second and just talk about why I do that. So a lot of times what I used to do was go to a class and I would like either write my notes as they were talking, or I would type my notes into the iPad or whatever I had on my laptop that was out, and I would have the copies of the notes. And then I would have to go through later and find those notes. And again, in that case, what I would do in that same folder rather than using slides is I would just do a doc, right? And I would have a Google Doc added in. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So I would go back to my drive and I would do it. And this again, this is in this folder, and I would do a Google Doc, and that would be what I just typed. What I found was when I changed it over to the slide deck and it was already ready to go, when it came back to teaching my real estate company, right, my peers there, my colleagues there, or when I started showing it up, I already had it in training material so that I could throw up my slide deck and I could then train people on it and pass on that message. And it would be something that I could put right up on the screen. So I found it to be a really fast tool for transmitting my learning, right? And that's really why I go to learn, and I go around and I go to as many committees as I can. I go to as many training sessions as I can, and I take notes on all of it as slide decks. So it's already ready to show other people. And that makes me happy because I feel like if I can bring it back and I can incorporate it myself, one of the things I train on in the RISE program is a 24/7, right? I'm sorry, let me get this right. So within the next 24 hours, you go through all of the notes that you had, and then in the next 7 days, you utilize them. So when you get back, you already create a habit of incorporating what you learned. And so, like I anticipate this bias override information to be something I will add to my fair housing class, my ADA class, my business regulations class, my at home with diversity certification class. So there's a lot of places I already know I want to plug in this up-to-date information, and I'll have my brain ready to do that. Okay. So Maggie just wrote, and I'm going to put on my glasses for this because Maggie has sat next to me. I watched you do this at the MAR conference. Great tip. Yeah. So Maggie was sitting next to me, and I was like, I think when she looked down at my slides, I was adding the slides in because it was going so fast. I wanted to be ready to go to the next slide for the next for the next message. Right. So each slide gets one nugget. Right. So in that case, I think we were in Holly Mayberry's class, and she was going so fast, but I wanted them to each have their own nugget. And so that's why I picked that big font, and I make it one message, one slide. And that is what I try to communicate the best I can whenever I'm teaching. I'm so excited. Okay, the nails are done. By the way, from moving everything in my office, this is my last day, hopefully, of being here with you, and then I'll be in one of the studios, even though it's ad hoc. I'll be ready because it's almost done. It has taken me so much. My fingers are sore, like they're sore to touch. I was trying to do something this morning, like a button or something. And I'm like, oh, even buttoning hurts my fingers. All right, my friends, I will see you soon. And let's try to prepare, if you are going to the conference, to find ways to connect, right? Because I am going for connection. I am going for getting out of my shell. Again, I feel like I'm relearning everything all over again. I don't know if any of you feel that way at all, but I feel like it a lot. And I'm boldly going where I've gone in the past, but I haven't for the last 2 years. Oh, my friends, I will see you on Monday.